Hey out there, all you viewers to Play Later, how we doing today? No, it's gonna be a different one. You guys know, every so often I really like to go back and any miniature that I showed you that was primed or in its plastic form, after I've got it painted, I'd like to bring it to you full of life. Well, today we've got two from the Age of Sigmar. Let's get the huge one out of the way early, okay? That's right, I completed my Black Talons. One of these I have to give full credit to the War Hipster on. That man, when he works with contrast paint, is unbelievable. And this is the first time I've ever done a miniature 95% contrast paint. All because I sat down and looked at his channel. I had no idea how to do one of these figures. Now what kills me is they sit and they go, well, you know, if you have a problem, look back at the box art. Okay, well that's pretty much the box art for miniatures. They're giving you the front, they're giving you the back, but they're not really giving you sides and from the top. And that's something I really like that Warhammer has done. I can't call them Games Workshop anymore because now they're Warhammer.com. If you go to the figure and you scroll through the photos, in the upper left-hand corner, no, right-hand corner, I think you could click on something and have the 360, but you can also move it so you can see a top-down view. And that helped me immeasurably when I figured that out. So, okay, first up, seriously, we're going to go through all five real quick, and I'm going to talk about them. You can't really talk about the Black Talons without starting with Knave, right? Or Nave, whatever. I knew I was pissed when I didn't pick up the last miniature that was out there. She was kind of like on my, okay, I want to get. Then I caught the stuff on Warhammer Plus. I was like, I really got to get it. It's gone. Then I saw the box set. I'm like, yeah. But here's my Knave. Okay, she was pretty much easy peasy to paint. The only thing I had to decide on was what I wanted the inside of the cloak and her cloak. Now I know with a lot of stuff from Games Workshop and in the cartoon, she has like a one color cloak. But I really wanted her to stand out a little bit more, so I went with some stuff that I usually do with using like Skeleton Horde, Wildwood, Black Templar, doing some dry brushing, and then giving it a coat of known oil. On the inside, I went with, I believe it's Steel Legion Drab, and gave it some sepia washes to kind of bring out that brownish kind of look to it, and just kept her as simple as I could. She's an imposing, striking figure. If you get your colors down and you get everything like you're supposed to, it's really going to help. And what got me was, thankfully with G-Dub, the Storm, what is it, the Storm Bolt Pistol, whatever? Oh, God. I don't know. With G-Dub being able to turn it around, it really helped me see some certain areas in there that I really wanted to get to, and went, okay. Now, the other thing that struck me was, on the box art, I hope you can see it. Like her little animal pauldron on her knee. Basically, like leaders have animals on their armor. It looked silver to me. But when I watched the War Hipster, he did his bronze, but I did mine silver. So, no big deal. I really like her. I really like how she turned out. And the base, seriously, that's just a coat of Storm Vermin fur. Army Painter Starship Hull in Screaming Skull, like a 60, 70, 30 mix, 70 being the Starship Hull, dry brushed with Targor Raid Shade over the top. And that's turning me out some beautiful stonework. It really truly is. Alright, next up, you gotta go with the grizzled vet of the group. And that's gonna be, how they call him, Hendrik, the Silver Wolf. Well, here's mine. Okay? Now, one thing I did differently was when I got down towards the end, I've always seen people lay down a coat of silver and then do a speed paint over the top to simulate gold. They're like, oh, it's so easy, it's so great, so whatever. So I wanted to try it. I'm not completely sold on it. That's like chainmail covered with Nazdrag yellow. Not completely sold, but it's an okay look to them. So, yeah. Other than that, I went with standard everything that I do. The leather on the back is just hard leather from the Army Painter. Let it sit. Gave it a known oil covering. I found a really, really light gray that I have, gave it a no oil wash to give him like his grayish, whitish hair. And on his cloak on the back, I did the XV88 and highlighted up from there. Now I know the War Hipster did like things going across. I just wanted like big patches on his back to simulate something a little bit differently. So yeah. Now for him, oh god, I can't remember the color of gray. It's contrast paint. Like graveyard gray or something like that. I laid that down on the inside, and then I went over it with, oh my god, Agrax Earthshade to give me that coloring on the inside. So 2 quick, simple, like, contrast and shades. No problem. Once again, the base work, same that I did with the stone. Simple stuff came out really, really cool for Hendrik. I really like how the whole overall feel looks to it. Now, my guy, my favorite in the whole show, I don't know why, I really like him the most. Rostis, what they call him? Yeah, Oxenhammer. Okay. He's just a big hunk of armor, big hammer, and go at it. Oh my god. I can't even remember what I did with the face, how I got it that way, because I'll admit I was painting drunk, which I never really suggest. I sat down and went, well, let me do a little bit of touching. Next day I came back and looked and went, god damn it, I wish I wrote down what I did. Because I could probably never ever do that again. But once again, you can kind of see the silver with the bowl, the silver on the pauldron. Whereas the War Hipster went bronze, I went silver. No big friggin' deal. I love the overall look to it. I stuck with my basic Stormcast stuff. He came out pretty damn good. The one thing I'm doing a little bit different on the weapons halves is I'm using the usual Screamer pink, but instead of a known oil wash, I'm doing Targor Rage Shade. It just gives me a little bit deeper depth into the wraps, and it just looks magnificent to me. His drinking horn on the back was Drake's Tooth, I believe. Like, I gave it a covering with Army Painter Drake Tooth and some Agrax Earth Shade just to kind of shade it in and do things. The horns, I believe I did them Screaming Skull from the Army Painter, whatever they call it, like Bleached Bone or whatever. And then I did Agrax Earth Shade over the top because it settled in beautifully into the grooves and everything else. Just take your time. They're going to come out beautifully. They really, really, truly are. I love how he looks. Like I said, I wish I could have wrote down what I did for the skin for the face. Because, yeah, that's just me. If you know this channel, you know me. Yeah. Alright. Next up is Shikana Golden Blade. Whew. Now, if you may remember when I had to put it together, my green stuffing inadvertently covered up some certain parts. So she's going to look vastly different to a lot of other people's. But here's mine. Number one, War Hipster, thank you so much for the bird, because I copied what you did on your video, except at the end I added a known oil wash to kind of get in there and dirty up some of the feathers. But other than that, I went right with kind of like what I usually do with my Stormcast. The wood is just hardwood from the Army Painter. Normally it's like a one coat. No problem. Gets in there, gets in the cracks, shades and highlights everything really, really beautifully. I like how she came out. I like how the bird came out. I like everything about this miniature, even though if you remember my unboxing video, I really wanted like the cloak down, but because I screwed up and figured out everything I did later on, I can't have it. I had to have the cloak up. But I love how she came out. Now, this is the one I am going to give all kinds of credit to the War Hipster on. Lorelei, Child of the Abyss. That freaking spell casting elf. I had no idea what I was going to do. I had no idea what I wanted to pull off. I went, how am I going to do that? And after watching the War Hipsters video 5 or 6 times, I went, that's kind of what I'm going to do. So here is mine. This is the one I did basically 95% contrast paint. There are some differences in mine and the War Hipsters ones, like he used a, Fugian orange or whatever on the staff for the gold. I didn't. I don't have that color. He did some different highlighting through. I really like the flowy robes, how they ended up. So I kind of left it alone. I kind of like how the front, like, little loincloth area looks, so I left that alone. I didn't go in depth on the little floating fish like he did. But yeah, I do love that little diseased base. Because if you watch a lot of the Black Talon stuff, they're always seeming to go up against either vampires or Nurgles. At least through, what they've done in that 6-episode arc that they had. So let's just keep to it, The armor is just a mix of Runefang steel and a couple contrast paints. You lay one down and quickly lay one over the top. And it creates some very, very interesting stuff. My gold piece in the middle is a bit bigger than the box art and everything else. It's supposed to be like a little gem. But I really wanted something big to stand out on her, and I thought that's the perfect way. Elf flesh? Oh, God. Yeah, okay. I just went through, found the lightest colors that I could, and after everything was done, it got a Nolan oil wash, so some stuff kind of, popped in the cracks and crevices, and I like how it turned out. I really thought that those were different little things up there, but they're actually just shells. So they're just a sepia wash with Nolan oil over the top. Yeah, Nolan oil is kind of like the duct tape of the painting world in a lot of areas. It can cause you a lot of problems and cause you to settle into some bad habits, but it can also do other fun stuff. But there she is. All credit, seriously, out to the War Hipster. Thank you so much for helping guide the way. I have never painted anything just with contrast. Will I ever do it again? I don't know. I'll be honest with you, I don't know. Hands holding that, not really wanting to go back over stuff with gray sear and touch up so I can do other things. That's on me, though. Okay, so the next one up, I promised you two. I brought these guys to the channel a while ago. The Dracothian Guard. So there they are. I kept like every picture I could for reference. I even went to Games Workshop's web store. Like I said, took a whole bunch of photos and stuff so I could turn things around and kind of figure out what I wanted to do. Basically, both of these were painted the same, but with minor differences, because I'm not exactly sure which way I want to go moving forward, but it gave me a great way to go. Okay, one could possibly be a leader, and the others could be the normal. So here's the first one that I did. I want to give all credit to Duncan Rhodes for teaching me the skin. Because basically I went to his Vandis Hammerhand video and I saw how he did the skin. The only thing I added at the end was a Reikland Flesh Shade wash all over the scales and all over the skin, just to give it a little bit of a difference. I mean, I dropped some things that he did, like when he was highlighting the snout, it looked out of place to me. And to be honest, even the stuff around the eyeballs looks a little out of place, but it just added something a little different. I went with the usual Stormcast stuff that I always do for like the reds and everything else. I painted the back scales on the cloak while I was painting the Dracolith? Dracothian? Whatever, the big freaking lizard, okay? So I had to carefully work around it as I was doing everything. There was not as much cleanup on this miniature as you might think there would be, but still, it got its usual base. It got more tufts because I wanted these guys to really stand out. And like I said, I went heavy with the gold on the front with this guy, just simply because, okay, Stormcast, they're gold, they're big, they're out there, they're, in your face, bright, bringing the shining light of Sigmar and all that fun stuff. But for the next one, I went a different route. Now, I went more blue on the front, like the blue all the way around to kind of try to tie it in. The horns popping out of the top, I didn't really highlight a bone color. I left it like the scaly lizard color, like I think Duncan had in his video. I wanted the two to be a little bit different because I know when I was putting some things together, I think I screwed up on the assembly. Because I think at one point I was following a boss figure when I shouldn't have been. But it's me, it's my channel, little things stick out. So that's why I said, if you look at them coming from the front, he could be a boss. Or he could be a normal troop. He could be one of those ultimate figures, he could be whatever. I just, like you notice for him, I did gold inside the hammer, where I didn't do it there as much. I mean, there's some very, very faint goldish in there. I think it was a speed paint I tried to use over the top, and I really wasn't impressed with it, to be honest, and I didn't go back and touch it up. But other than that, it got the same. What are you? He got the same exact treatment all the way around, especially the base, everything else. I let these things intimidate me for a little while, and then once again, and I've said this in a lot of painting videos, break it into chunks. Once you do that, you've got it conquered. I will admit, if you're going to do these, I would recommend some sub-assemblies, because it would be a lot more helpful trying to get in some parts between the body and the drag, well, I should say the rider and the dragon. It could be a lot more helpful to you. But there we go, guys. Like I said, miniature follow-up. When you're painting these, break them down in chunks. Set yourself a time limit. Don't exceed that time limit, because you're going to burn yourself out. Don't try to paint like the box art if you're brand new, because you're never going to be able to do it. I don't even think I come close to it. I want to put a good quality miniature on the board. So right now, I have no problem taking a full week of my time to paint 2 figures. Or even taking 4 days to even get a test model done. Like I'm currently working on, oh my god. The big old rocket launcher, the Desolation Squad for Warhammer 40k for my Space Marines. I'm working on them, and I think I finally got the captain down to where, or I should say, the sergeant boss guy for the Desolation Squad down to where I want it. So now I can just kind of daisy chain it right down the line. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. Remember, these are your forces. These are your miniatures. Paint them how you want. Now, with all that fun stuff being said, I want to know your questions, comments, love, hatred, and anger. All that fun stuff down below. How do you feel about painting miniatures? Do you get intimidated by like the bigger figures? Or are you like, well, I'm just big gray, put them together. I don't care. I go to my local gaming group. They don't care as long as it's assembled. They don't even care. You could throw bases down and put a little word down there that goes, this is this. I've actually played against some guys like that and went, hey, that's cool. At least you got a base. We're good. Let's game. Because that's part of what this great hobby is getting together, that bonding experience, rolling dice, and having a good time. Now, if I made you laugh, made you cringe, made you cry, made you do any of that while filming this video, and I'm pretty sure that I did, hit that big old thumbs up. It's only going to show love and support for the channel, and that is always appreciated. But there we go, guys. Like I said, let me get these. My miniature follow-up for 2 things for Age of Sigmar. I want to thank you guys for watching this one. I hope you're having a great day today, a safe day today, and one day soon, I hope, to meet all of you across the tabletop.